The Sussexes are very unpredictable. They do their own thing as and when they decide to, as I say. I mean, the most recent decision that he made that a hotel, it appears, was, we will believe the reports, was more secure than a palace. I find odd, but that would depend on what he feels at an individual time. I mean, he said or indicated he'd be over to see his father. The last time was very peculiar when he was here for the Invictus service. But the facts are, however, that even though he and the King appear to have been very close physically in London and they didn't see each other, the optics of that were absolutely terrible, of course, with briefings from both sides. You never know what may happen. And of course, two senior royals, the King and the Princess of Wales, are seriously ill. So you have a situation with a huge question mark in the future, and we have no knowledge or idea of how the Sussexes are going to respond in the future. Equally, they can't attack the royal family at this time. Obviously, it would be highly insensitive, and I think it's abundantly clear that any rift is undesirable. When individuals are ill who are involved in it, it makes it even more undesirable. If the Sussexes, in their public appearances, decided to say something nice about the royal family, something positive, I think that would be a step in the right direction. But in reality, what you need is something private, something we don't know about, so they might come, whether to London or whether Balmoral or Windsor or whatever. And if we don't know, so I think William takes the view that they cannot be trusted. Now, the idea that King Charles might play a sort of peacemaker, the facts are that I think from what we've seen, and that was Harry's very recent visit, that I don't think the King trusts him either at the moment. He's deeply fond of him as his son. We know that he's always will have the door open to him, but it's a completely different thing actually believing that you could trust what he says and does, especially when it comes to issues dealing with the press. The Sussexes are obsessed with privacy on the one hand. On the other hand, they feel that they can do their own thing when it comes to the media. And it's had very, very destructive consequences for the royal family, especially among younger people and also in the Commonwealth. So far as King Charles is concerned, I think he and William are absolutely in one at the moment on how to deal with these Sussexes. The point is how the Sussexes want to deal with the royal family. We don't know that in the weeks and months to come. We will see and we will monitor, because what future have they got? What do they want to do? Is it just Netflix? Does she want to go into politics? All these questions. You know, it's America's a gerontocracy. She's relatively young, so it's a possibility. So is there a serious thing that they want to do past the lifestyle programs and occasional charitable work and so on? Is that what they want to do, what they're doing now, or have they another plan? We don't know. There's absolutely no reason why Meghan can't go into politics. So there's been constant rumours, because since she was young, I mean, she took an interest in, women's rights and against discrimination and so forth. These issues, especially linked to, obviously, work to the Democratic Party. But you're thinking of House of Representatives. Possibly one day you might be thinking of the Senate. It's the sort of thing, but they're not showing any signs that this is what they plan and that she wants to do it. So we will wait and see. But it's always been a possibility, and it remains a possibility. As I say, I mean, with America being a gerontocracy, she's got plenty of time. I mean, I cannot see him being returning to Britain as a working royal in any form. Firstly, he has no patronages, and secondly, there's a deep split, as we all know, in the royal family. So, I mean, you need a seismic change of their attitudes and of the attitudes of the royal family towards them. You need trust. You haven't got that. But what he'll do in the future is a very important question because, yes, you've got Invictus, particularly, which is superb, Bali, and the Well Child Awards. I think he had all of those before he was married. So he hasn't really done that much. I don't see his polo documentary, because polo is a pretty elite sport. I don't see that making waves, though of course it might, who knows. The Invictus documentary on Netflix wasn't widely watched because it was, I think, 5 hours long. But it was full of inspiring stories, of course. But it's a complete question mark as to what Harry wants to do with his future, beyond being a husband and father and participating in some charitable activities, as well as some being responsible or involved in some programs. Very interesting point, but question mark. There's absolutely no question of Andrew playing any part in any royal duties. On the other hand, you have the fact that he's there, and every time he appears in public, every time he appears at some event, and very often when he appears in public, what you get is a photograph. The press constantly pursue him. We don't know if any more embarrassing details will surface in the months and years to come regarding his disastrous friendship with the deceased paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and of course then there's the issue linked to Ghislaine Maxwell and so forth. So the whole thing is a disaster area, and it's completely unclear where it's going to go. I think firstly it's absolutely essential, so far as Harry's concerned, that the issue of security is solved, because that's what is ongoing at the moment. What we've seen is rather strange, because apparently when he was recently over for the Invictus service, he was in a hotel which he preferred to a palace. That didn't make a great deal of sense to me or a lot of other people. I do have a certain amount of sympathy with him. It's simply that they knew perfectly well when they stepped down as senior working royals they'd lose automatic police protection, but equally there is a threat from right-wing extremism. There is obviously an Islamic terror threat, potentially, not helped by the fact that he revealed how many Taliban he'd personally killed on his second tour of duty in Afghanistan. Even so, he's haunted by what happened to his mother. We know that. He thinks his family is in danger, as the situation is, and it is possible, especially with the new Labour government, that they might, despite his unpopularity in the poll, I think the latest you got was -25, they might well take a more sympathetic view of this.